What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 695 of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk Hot Tags of the Week. I am Tony Mango. I'm joined by Robert Felice.
Hey, that was some different inflection there on the introduction. I like it.
That was me debating whether I should say something else after my name and being like, all right, so here's what's going on, everybody.
Listen, it's I will start here by saying it's 1:30, and we've been talking since about 10:30. So
Yeah.
there's that.
It's been a day, and I obviously not going to tell everybody everything, but at the same time, I'll fill you in on the podcast side of things. So I will be fully transparent a minute into this podcast because really, if you're clicking on the hot tags, you're probably a fan of the podcast already. If you are brand new, go back to previous episodes and you will see my sanity. The further back you go, it's more there. But we've been dealing with the thing, and it's something for the regulars. I'm going to just explain. All right, so here's the scoop when it comes to podcasts. I did a lot of research.
He did.
As I've told people before, we use Skype and OBS to record this podcast, and that Skype is going away in May. Well, I did a lot of research, and I mean a lot of research. And I found that if we wanted to keep the same functionality, we would have to go over to Microsoft Teams, which I've never used before. And that I would need to buy a subscription for Microsoft 365 that would give us unlimited call time and unlimited calls. Okay, I signed up for that. It's like $150 a month. And I install Teams, and it doesn't let us actually record off of that. So I talked to the Microsoft team, and they straight up lie to me, like multiple times. And they get me to sign up with an extra business account thing. I set that up, and then afterward I find out I still can't do any of that stuff. And even if I could get it to work, I would have to pay triple the price for the three of us to do this podcast. So it would go from $0 to record to $500 a year just to be able to do what we're doing now, if I could figure it out. We have been trying to figure out some other options. I obviously am not going through with that. I could not afford that. If you want to make sure I can afford that and help us out, there are lots of ways for you to do that. I always mention it. You can toss something directly our way. You can sign up to the Patreon. You can be on the technically you could be like buying stuff on Redbubble and TeePublic. I did mention as well that TeePublic is changing, and I have to figure that out. It's going to be Dashery, and I think I have that set up correctly. I don't know what that means.
I don't like that. TeePublic is iconic.
I think TeePublic is staying as like a resource for you to be able to like look up the t-shirts, but I think to be able to get paid, they're not using that. They need to have like a separate thing. They haven't really explained it. So technically you could buy some stuff through there, but to offset $500, you would have to spend way more than $500 because I get paid like $1 per t-shirt, which is absurd. So keep all that in mind. Keep my sanity in mind. And if you know anything about how to record stuff through OBS with calls and stuff, you let me know, especially when it comes to if there's ways to record through Discord, through OBS and all that. So any help for anybody that does that stuff would greatly appreciate it. We are currently recording on something that we have never tried before called VDO Ninja right now. And for all accounts, it seems like it would work okay. So if you hear anything weird on this podcast at any point, if the audio seems strange, which it shouldn't for me at least, because I'm using the same microphone as I always do. And
I am as well, but you know,
Rob's using the same microphone, but Rob is being recorded through this other program. I'm being recorded directly through my microphone. So I shouldn't sound any different. If Rob sounds any different, please let me know, because I'm not going to listen back to this whole podcast for every minute of it. We've done test calls. It seemed fine. But if you notice any glitches, definitely let me know. Okay. So with that somewhat out of the way, if this is the thing that works perfectly fine, We might end up using this going forward. And if that is the case, then we should be okay. And if it is not, which I won't know for, I don't know, a while, then we're going to need to do a fundraising episode of something, or we just go away. There's a very, very good chance that
listen to me. There's a very good chance we just go away.
And we've got episode 700. Seems like that would be the last one before this might switch over. So,
but you can change that.
You certainly can.
By giving us your change.
You can change it quite literally. So I really desperately mean that. I hate to sound desperate, but that's true. If you do want this podcast to continue, please consider donating to the Patreon or something, because we might be in a situation where it seems the cheapest that I could probably get it would be around $250 a year, unless I bypass something else, and I don't even know how I'm supposed to do that. But it seems like it would be $250 a year. So keep all that in mind, everybody.
You settle down there, Kirk Van Housen. You don't have no dignity. All right.
I can draw it though.
It's dignity.
And if it ends up being that it's the cheapest I could do is $250 a year, I still don't know, honestly, everybody, if we would do this podcast. So keep that in mind as well too. The $500 thing is absurd, and the $250 is still, that's a lot to go from 0 to $250. And if you enjoy us, Darkcast is $10 a month. If 3 people did that every month of the year, that would cover that. Keep that in mind. That's how simple it is. And that's how dire the situation can be. Now that we've spent 7 minutes.
Speaking of dire situations.
Now we've spent 7 minutes telling everybody how I'm progressively losing my sanity even more, and how we might go away. And hey, at least you weren't listening to me cry earlier, everybody.
By the way, I haven't said anything, but ditto. So you know.
Now we got that out of the way. Hey, hot tags. You know how the hot tags work.
you think you do, but let's just Tony. Let's just jump into it. What's the first hot tag, Tony?
Well, if the world isn't the way that it is, did you happen to know that Kane, because Mayor Kane is a thing in this planet, challenged Tim Walz, the should have been vice president, to a wrestling match for charity? And
so Tim Walz, who was Kamala Harris's running mate, went on Gavin Newsom's podcast and basically was like, yeah, I don't know, these MAGA guys, they get all hot and bothered and they think they can beat anybody up. I'll take them on in a WWE match. And it's not that Glenn Jacobs tweeted, I'll take him on. It's that they broke out the Kane account, the WWE Kane account, just to go, I'll have one more match. Like, okay, sure. And then I think he did some like News Nation or Newsmax stuff where he's like, yeah, I'm serious, I'll fight him. Okay, Kane. Look, guys.
Does he come out to break the walls down?
I mean, he might be in his corner. You know, you guys know where we stand on the political spectrum, but even outside of that, wasn't it just so much nicer when you just thought Kane was just a guy who was a little weird and a little like, he's a kind of scary character on TV. If
I could go back to Kane can't talk, Kane. Go back to that even.
Anyway. Yeah, I mean, Tim Walz is coming out, and if we're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it. Tim Walz is coming out a lot more aggressively in the past couple of weeks, talking about some of the mistakes from the past election, talking about, you know, where he wants to see the party go, and, you know, Kane is just like, yeah, I'll wrestle you for charity. Very weird.
that's where we're up to. With one part of the world the way that it is.
As you know, one of the decisions, one of the first, maybe first day decisions made by the Trump regime was changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And now this only applies in America. Like, yes, if you Google it in America, it'll be called the Gulf of America. But if you Google it almost anywhere else, it's still labeled the Gulf of Mexico. But that doesn't matter because Monday Night Raw has a new superstar called El Grande Americano, who hails from the Gulf of America.
So this video package airs on Monday Night Raw, airing this idea of the rich history of El Grande Americano, who they equated as like the same as like El Santos and the Mysterios and the Guerreros and all these other great luchador legends. And it says that he was ostracized by his competitors or something, or his enemies like did something or whatever. So he just disappeared mysteriously for decades. Now he's back, and
In Pog form.
very clearly an AI video. And I've
Oh
seen
yeah,
a lot of discourse over people being like, "Oh, WWE shouldn't have used an AI thing," and I I agree and I disagree. Here's where I stand on the AI thing. By the way, for anybody that's curious, just because whatever. I mostly am against the AI stuff. Like I don't think that a company should use AI to make an image for things. I think using AI for a lot of tools is really, really great, like ChatGPT for like brainstorming or something. But like, you're not going to see me write something up on ChatGPT and pass it off as my own writing. I think that that's terrible. I make it a point that, to me, that's plagiarism. I think imagery is the same thing too. So I think that it's bad that WWE used AI for it, but I like the idea. Now, the ideal scenario is they hired an artist to make these graphics look like they're AI. Highly doubt that that's the case. So if they used AI, boo. But if you made people make AI looking graphics, it's amazing because then that reads as Gable used AI to create this video package for WWE and send it to them. It's a long roundabout way to say that. That's what you're getting at 1:42 a.m.
Yeah. Um, I
You
I
kind of on
have
the
a
same
similar
bit about that?
I I have a similar take to AI because like specifically the video package, it's the bad kind of generative AI. And look, I think what AI is doing to the environment, and I'm sorry, I don't know why we keep going back to these like political beats, but I think what AI is doing to the environment's terrible. But I think you'd be a fool to think that AI just isn't the way of the future. Like you ever see these things where people are like, "We got them. They've learned AI sucks," and I'm like, "What?" Like I saw this, Apple Intelligence failed, and I'm like, "Or it's just getting started, pal." Like these companies aren't going to stop doing this. They're not going to stop using generative AI.
Right.
WWE isn't going to stop using AI. They're going to do more of them.
It's
It's
going to
only
get
a
better
matter of
and
time
better as time
before
goes on, and then more and more people are going to use it because that's a means for them to not have to pay somebody. So
we're like 10 years away from, hologram AI Andre the Giant against hologram AI Undertaker at WrestleMania. Um,
I mean, that's
other than
assuming that
that,
we're going to be around in 10 years.
then we get to the El Grande Americano of it all, and the Gulf of America thing. And I'll say this: I said it privately, I'll say it publicly. TKO, not just WWE, TKO, and their hardcore embracement of MAGA is making this shit really fucking hard. Cause like there's a part of me that wants to laugh at Chad Gable pretending to be a luchador, calling himself from the Gulf of America. That's like I see the humor in that.
Right.
But because of what all of this symbolizes, you just end up wanting to gouge your eyes out.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm stuck too.
Like, I think if this was the one beat with all of this, I'd probably be okay with it. But it's like there's so much, and you start to feel guilt and shame for even looking at a thing that entertains you, and that's so frustrating, right? And that's how I feel with the whole "let's just announce him from the Gulf of America" thing, because it's like you know what you're doing, and how much that hurts people. Like, come on,
And
stop it.
that's, I'm sure that they're like, well, it's just funny because, if you're on one side of the fence, you think that everything that's going on is great and laughable.
Again, like I genuinely think if that was the only thing this regime had done so far, I'd be all right with it. Like, all right, I get the humor. Gulf America, got it.
Right. Yeah. When you add in, supporting Hogan and all the other things that go along with this, then yeah, changes it. But El Grande Americano being from there and having the AI thing and all, it's funny in concept. Yeah. Now he had his quote unquote debut beating Dragon Lee and taking Dragon Lee's mask off, which means that right after Jericho takes Gravity's mask off at Revolution, they have this happen on Raw. And also, Chris Jericho has challenged Bandito to a mask versus title match for Dynasty. So a lot of mask stuff
Yeah,
going
but
on right now.
why don't you people stop wearing masks? I thought that's what you people wanted. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know. Look, it's 2 a.m. and I'm very political.
So now that's even more so when it comes to WrestleMania. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing because to me, that would read as Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio and a mask versus mask match, which that
Right.
would have been the thing for Dom to do as like a means to unmask Rey or, win his
Well,
mask from him or, whatever. Like to me, that's a retirement match right there. It's
Dom has his
hair
own
versus
mask.
mask or something.
That would be great. I hope Chad Gable does get a spot, because otherwise, why are you doing this angle if it's not going to pay off at WrestleMania?
I'm
I'm not
also
not saying he needs to be in
starting
the main event.
I'm also starting to get a little bit nervous that they're booking so many stories that can't possibly fit at WrestleMania because in their mind they're going to be kind of pulling that WrestleMania Raw, WrestleMania SmackDown thing again. And it's going to be,
Right.
well, on WrestleMania week, even Monday Night Raw has this important mask versus mask match. It's got Lyra Valkyria and Bailey fighting for the tag titles or Lyra against
Oh, you
Bailey.
wish.
Like
Lyra is definitely defending that women's title.
at Mania, you think?
I think the title will be on the line at Mania. I don't know who will be champion. Because let's talk about that for a second. They're defending these belts left and right. I
Yeah.
came on here, I think, after the Rumble and was like, they don't defend titles on TV anymore. And they defend these titles left and right now,
And change them most of the time. Or not
which
change
is
them when you
great.
think that they would. Like on Tuesday, we'll talk about that. Yeah, like Braun Breaker defended the Intercontinental title 2 weeks in a row, right? And Lyra had her match with Raquel Rodriguez, and she had just had a match against somebody else. And like, they're really just everybody is challenging for these belts except for Cody, essentially. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, but
maybe they have enough space at Mania if they cut the matches short enough, or they go, we're not going to fill it with a bunch of crap. But
I, I'm a fan though. I kind of like the move.
So we might as well keep talking about Raw because we already addressed some of these points. One of them being that Braun Breaker retained the Intercontinental title over Penta, but not through traditional means. He actually did that through DQ because Dominic Mysterio, Carlito, and Finn Balor attacked him, and they gave Penta a chance to join them, and he didn't, so they just beat him up too. So that really speaks to me. Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Dom versus Finn at Mania.
Yeah, Fightful had a story that kind of supports that as well. And I'm just gonna say I think Dom wins.
I think so too.
If it's that exact match, I think Dom is leading the gold.
That's what I'm thinking. That it's going to seem like he and Balor are on the same page, and it'll be like Balor hits the coup de grace on somebody, and probably Breaker, I'm assuming. Oh, I don't know, probably Penta. And then Dom steals the win from Balor or something like that. And then it could be like, oh, what the hell were you thinking? Why did you, steal the pin and whatever? Why are you the champion instead of me? And they can do a feud between Dom and Finn after Mania. Braun Breaker loses that. He's free to move to SmackDown if they want to move him around like that without the title, because they could do the draft. Penta can be the guy that beats Dom. Braun can win it back. Whatever they want to do. Definitely thinking that that's the case.
I'm definitely a big fan of the idea because I think Dom has earned the right to be champion.
Same here. He's the guy that I have down on my predictions as being like, I want it to be Dom. Other title news. Well, we kind of addressed it, but Bayley's kind of teaming with Lyra now. So it's like, all right, well, Bayley and Lyra are going to fight for those tag titles, and or Bayley's going to fight against Lyra.
Well, Lyra already guaranteed Bayley a shot. So that could happen next week.
Yeah, they didn't announce it for next week, but it could happen.
Because Roxanne's taking a couple of weeks off. So I'm hoping she'll be involved in the WrestleMania festivities.
I still think she's going to be taking off until after Mania. I don't think that they're incorporating her at all. Yeah. I think it'll just be Roxanne's officially on Raw and after Mania. Women's division news elsewhere on the Raw side of things. Exactly pretty much what we were expecting would happen. Adam Pearce is like, hey, Rhea Ripley's contract signature doesn't count, but she is entitled to a rematch that we haven't settled on yet. And I'm like, yeah, look at that. They did my idea of just saying she'll have a rematch, but we didn't figure out when, and then incorporating that. Well, instead, they decided to go one extra step just to not make it official, even though it's Adam Pearce. Io Sky came out, Bianca Belair came out. The announcement is Rhea Ripley gets to fight Io Sky for the title on Raw. Bianca Belair is the special guest referee, and the winner faces Bianca. And then they did the same exact thing that they've been doing for like week after week after week, where they both just push Io in the face. So obviously, Bianca Belair is going to get involved in this match, despite being the special guest referee. It's going to lead to some kind of confusion or whatever. And then it's going to be, all right, you know what? Shenanigans, the match is thrown out or whatever. It's all for Io Mania.
Yeah, I think they're taking a long road, and I don't know why. But I definitely think it's still a three-way, and there's no reason to change that.
It would be baffling if they end up being like, Io retains, and that's it. Or Rhea wins the title back, and now it'd be kind of funny though if it was like Rhea wins the title back, and then it ends up being Io Sky goes, "Hey Pierce, I'm entitled to a rematch," and he goes, "God damn it,"
Yeah. I think I don't know why they don't utilize the 2-night thing more often, because you could get away with being like, all right, it's going to be Bianca versus Io, and then Bianca wins, and then Bianca fights Ripley. Like, that's 2 major matches.
I guess it's because they need all the other matches on the card. If we're talking about, do they even have enough room? They definitely can't split one into 2.
I guess right.
Let's talk about John Cena's promo. I liked it a lot. Where he was saying that the fans are an experiment and that his greatest idea was the spinner belt, because once he turned that into a toy, everybody showed him that means more to them. So now that he's going to do the worst thing, he's going to ruin wrestling. He's going to win that 17th world title. He's going to have them have to replace it with a new toy belt because he's going to keep the real championship at home. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't want the spinner belt to come back, but I like this promo and I want John Cena to win the title.
Right. I thought he was originally threatening the spinner belt, but he's not. And I like the promo, but I also feel like some of it's too predictable and all you people and all that. And I wanted more from a little real life heel John. But I'm enjoying what he's giving us now anyway.
I assume we're going to get some of that more on the next one because they already, Cody Rhodes and John Cena face to face under the same roof. They're together, How many more times can we rephrase they will be there? Cody Rhodes and John Cena in the house. Cody Rhodes and John Cena.
No, because
there it is.
You have to know that like they're going to be under the same roof, so that you can, get excited and maybe buy last minute tickets. But no, I think it'll be I hope there'll be a new story beat, but I think there probably won't be, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably the same. Well, that's Monday Night Raw. We got to go back to SmackDown, actually. Now, SmackDown had a couple interesting things. They set up that LA Knight was going to face the winner of Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. I like the phrase that he said backstage. He's like, LA Knight tells Braun Strowman that he hopes he smacks Jacob Fatu back to factory settings. I like that. And that match ends up with Braun winning by DQ because Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga interfere. So Jacob Fatu is pissed about that. Braun Strowman gets a title match for the United States Championship next week today on SmackDown. That's right, because you're going to be listening to that today because it's 1:57 a.m. and it's technically Friday.
You speak English?
Yeah, I do. Great moment of time is there forever.
I think about that way too much.
It's elementary. Strowman is not going to win that United States title next week. And I'm assuming the Bloodline, or whatever they call themselves now, are going to attack. And then it's going to lead to another 4-way. And I think that at WrestleMania, we're getting LA Knight versus Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa.
I can see it, but and they do this sometimes, but that feels like a 1-to-1 copy of what we just said would happen on the Raw side of things.
I think that might even necessarily be planned to be like that. Because they could throw other people in there. Jimmy Uso's not doing anything. Shinsuke Nakamura just lost this title. You could throw Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in there, but I think they're just getting a regular match. Andrade's not doing anything. He popped up one time to be like, hey, fuck you to Santos. Melodome Miz. Yeah. Those are two people that aren't doing anything else.
Melodome Miz, if they still did the WrestleMania Battle Royal, would be there.
They might. Like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal hasn't been announced yet, which is like we're getting to the point where I'm like, hey, come on. But they've done that in the past too. Like we're on the 11th Andre, right? They started WrestleMania 30?
I believe so, yeah.
So 11 years.
Not I believe so. I know when they started. I'm just not sure it's 11 years.
Well, it'd be 12 if you count 30, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
You're right.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, 12. 12, yeah. No, 12. All right. Point being.
Okay.
12 years worth of that. We've seen them on WrestleMania. We've seen them on the pre-show. We've seen them on the SmackDown prior. There has been instances, might have even been last year, might have been the year before that too, where we didn't get confirmation of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal until the week of SmackDown. Where it was like, okay, shit, it's Monday and they haven't announced it yet. And then it becomes like, all right, everybody, here's the lineup of wrestling this week. And on SmackDown, we're bringing in the Andre. They don't care about it all that much. So they might announce it at the last minute. They might not announce it at all. But I got to feel like Andrade. I got to feel like Miz at this point and Mello are just in the Andre if they have it.
I
I do think it's a
agree.
4-way, though, for the United States title.
I just can't see it.
What I don't want to see is this Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair feud. That backstage split screen promo segment sucked.
Yeah, I haven't been liking anything about this build to WrestleMania that doesn't include John Cena and Cody Rhodes and Punk, Roman, and Rollins. It's not a strong build. It just isn't. And the Charlotte Tiffany thing is making me wish Charlotte didn't win the Royal Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
which is sad because I wanted Charlotte to win the Royal Rumble. I like
Like,
Charlotte.
all things considered, despite the fact that Charlotte Flair versus Stephanie Stratton seems bigger on paper, there is a part of me that's like, yeah, I kind of cared more about the Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax feud.
I think this could have been resolved if Charlotte would have just chosen Ripley. You know, like I think you could have made that work.
I wrote it
And
in
EO could be.
something. I don't remember what I wrote it on, but my assessment for this was that I didn't like Stratton's part because she seemed like she was nervous and that she wasn't like holding her own against Flair. And I didn't like Flair's part because she seemed like she was bored.
Yeah, but like, isn't that just how she consistently comes across to us?
Yeah, for the past couple of years, she's just bored. Like she doesn't want to actually wrestle. She wants to just, I don't know, do other shit. But then she just comes back to wrestling because it's like, well, I'm under contract and I'm not injured, so I guess I have to.
But there's also the love of the game. Like, I don't think you fight back what she, got sidelined with if you're not passionate about it. It's just everything's
True.
been so blah.
Maybe she's like, no, I really, really care. I just can't express it with this instead of Botox or something. Did you know the 4 is 3?
I've, I think you mean 3 is 4.
You know why 7's afraid of 9? Or 9's afraid of 7?
Uh,
That's the fucking joke, isn't it?
it's actually
No,
6
it's
is afraid
6
of
is afraid of
7
7. That's all right. 6 is afraid of 7
because
because 7, 8,
7, 8,
9.
7, 8, 9. But you know what I say to that? Good for 9.
Get eaten?
Everybody needs to get. Yeah, everybody needs a little, like.
There's not a 6 before the 9.
Yeah, you're correct, but that doesn't. We're not a. We don't know how 9 was eaten.
And if anybody's like, what the hell are you guys talking about? That's because they did that teaser where it said 4 last week, and this week it says 3. So Aleister Black is now
Yeah,
3.
and it's definitely not the number of weeks before he debuts,
I mean, it could be.
or not debuts, but
Right.
reemerges.
Because if it's 2 on today's episode, and then it's 1 on the 4th, then that would be April 11th is when he would show up, which would be right before WrestleMania. The week before. No, well, the week before, but the 2 episodes prior.
I'm excited for it, right? Like if he's motivated, it'll be fun.
I mean, it'd be kind of interesting if maybe in these next couple of weeks it ends up being like we're also going to have like a battle royal to determine who gets a title shot or something, and then it's like, oh, it's Aleister Black. He popped up and he already won that. Like, they could do something like that. Or he could just pop up and then it could be like he's in the Andre.
And then he wins.
He could very well win, yeah. The Street Profits beat Los Garza. We know that the Pretty Deadly tag team match is happening next week or today in London. So people get involved.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're going full Fatal 4-Way ladder.
I think so too. Maybe not necessarily ladder, but I hope so.
Speaking of, New Day want to be the World Tag Team Champions at Mania. They
That's
probably
true.
will be.
They said that in things that you could only watch if you were not in the United States, and then on like social media, I guess. But nothing on the show itself announcing like that match is happening for sure or anything. So next week, I'm assuming that they're going to do something with War Raiders and then I'll like confirm it. But I hope that New Day wins if that's the case. We also had a thing
I
with
completely agree.
Liv Morgan beating Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill takes her first pinfall loss.
I was surprised by that, but actually was kind of happy to see that, you know, that mystique kind of just go, so that you can just move on with her. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's better to just get it out of the way. It's like a band-aid. Otherwise, you end up being in a Goldberg situation where it's like, well, now you've built it up for so long, then how are they going to lose? And if it's
And
Asuka,
again,
she
I'd
loses
like
at WrestleMania.
and then I'd like to congratulate them for having the first women's singles match that isn't for a title at Mania.
You still thinking Jade and Naomi?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's no other point to it. Watch them get WrestleMania SmackDown because they just refuse to give the women anything.
See, that's where I'm talking about where I think that they're setting up so many things that they're going to be like, see, that happens on SmackDown. It's just as good. And it's like, that's not Mania.
No, it's not. Like,
Just because it's important and it happens on TV does not mean that it is the same as being on WrestleMania. And they deep down they know that, but they would still argue that it would be the same anyway. So that could also apply to things like the tag title match. Could end up being that that's on SmackDown. All that stuff is kind of up in the air. But the tag title match most likely wouldn't happen on SmackDown if they have the Andre. Because I don't think they would have like the room for all that stuff. That's SmackDown out of the way. Let's actually pivot away from WWE before going to NXT. And let's talk about TNA a little bit. Hammerstone is now a free agent. And a bunch of people were fired from TNA. Gail Kim being among them.
Firing Gail Kim is the stupidest thing this company could ever do at this stage in their existence. They continue to find ways to fumble the bag, and I don't get it. Gail Kim is universally beloved. She's going to get a job instantaneously. Screw you for ripping out another part of the soul of TNA Wrestling.
Do you put any stock into the idea that it was a firing because of WWE not liking Gail Kim?
You know, I miss Callum in this case because he brought that up. And to be honest, I wasn't even thinking that. I was so wrapped up in my mindset of like, LOL TNA, you're failing again, that I was just like, when he said that, I just laughed because I was like, it'd be so funny if they went through all this trouble just to be like, not you, never you, out of here.
Like they're that upset that they're like, well, if we're gonna work together, Mr. TNA, you're gonna need to get rid of that woman because we don't like her.
Right.
I don't think that makes any sense. I think that if they're harboring that much resentment, especially considering how many people are gone from WWE at this point and how much the regime is new, like, what would Ari Emanuel care?
Yeah,
What would The Rock care?
To be clear, I don't think that there's any validity to that. But I did laugh when Callum said it to me, and it makes me miss him doing these shows.
Dang. Callum, hopefully having some sweet dreams right now, sleep instead of being up doing anything over there. He's probably actually getting ready for work or something because of the time zone difference. That's right.
I will say that I do think it's the genuinely worst move they could have ever made. They've lost everything that made TNA TNA. Scott D'Amore, Gail Kim, Josh Alexander, the Motor City Machine Guns. What is TNA? Where's the soul of TNA? You keep letting these people go.
They even
They want to
aren't
be
even in the impact zone all the time.
right. It just makes no sense to me. I'm glad that she's, handling it well.
I'm actually going to test out something right now during the podcast. I want to see if there's any latency going on between Rob and I. So, Rob, when I say a number, I want you to repeat it as quickly afterward as you can. All right?
Okay.
2.
2.
I think we're getting a delay here. I don't
Are
like
we?
that. I think so. Let's try it again. 2.
2.
There's a delay.
Wait, hold on. Respond to me when I say the opposite of blue, you say.
Wait, what? The opposite of blue?
Oh, fuck. What's the opposite of blue? Answer the
uh,
question.
does blue have an opposite?
Yeah. Wouldn't you say red is the opposite of blue?
I don't know. I guess the color wheel or something. Just give me something to
I mean,
repeat.
like, all right, fuck that. All right, what is your favorite type of cookie?
Chocolate chip.
All right, yeah, there's about a 20-second, 30-second delay.
It's out. Can't be 20-second. It's got to be like a 2-second.
You might be right.
Yeah,
Listen,
because
it's
20
late.
seconds would be crazy. If we got a
It's
2-second
late. We're
delay,
tired.
then that's already giving us issues. That's not great for if we were to do like fan ounce tables.
Yeah, that sucks. But we're gonna figure it out, guys.
Well, we're see if we can tweak some settings or something like that. If anybody knows anything about Video Ninja as well, let us know. I'm gonna write a note about that to myself because that seems like that's gonna be an issue going forward, and I don't like that. Let's see, Video Ninja 2-second delay from
Video
me.
killed the ninja star. Video.
Maybe there's other things about that on there. I don't know. All right. Well, at least for today, we're going to deal with this 2-second delay and come back to some of these other topics we were just talking about. So Gail Kim
Okay,
being
Dr.
fired.
Seuss.
Did I rhyme?
At least for today, we're gonna deal with this 2-second delay.
Alex Hammerstone, free agent. You think he's coming to WWE, AEW?
WWE wants him, so I hope he lands somewhere good. He's a great talent. He's got that nice, the big guy look. Not big guy like Ryback, not big hungry, but yeah, I'm sure he could eat. I'm I'm exhausted. Sorry. No, but Hammerstone's great.
There's a certain, I wouldn't say they're equivalents, but like I feel like if Hammerstone went to AEW, he would just be Brian Cage.
Wardlow. Oh yeah. That makes sense.
So
Although Cage is a little more flippy dippy.
what do you mean?
Hammerstone is not flippy dippy.
Like just in general being able to do those moves?
Yeah.
So my preference is that Hammerstone goes to NXT. I think that's going to be best for him.
Yeah, and I'd like to see him advance. I thought TNA was going to be great for him, but it turned out to not be. Story of TNA's life.
So with him gone and Gail Kim gone, I'm kind of thinking Gail Kim could potentially go to AEW. And
I think they'd be stupid not to take her.
There's who was it? That was I'm trying to think of. Oh, I have the names listed. Never mind. I was gonna say there was somebody else that's gone from TNA, but no, that's right. It's Saraya going from AEW. So, um, what the hell? Well, did I just mention it? Let's talk about it. Saraya is gone from AEW, and she could be popping up at any point anywhere else. But she said that she wants to take some time away from wrestling for a little bit at least. So I'm not anticipating that she's going to pop up in WWE even
The
by
thing
the
is,
end of the
though,
year.
they certainly are in London.
That is true.
For the next 2 shows, they're in London. I could see something happening.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
I don't know what I would want to see happen, but I could see Paige returning.
So I still don't think that's going to happen, but you got me thinking at least. I do think there's a chance she does pop back up in WWE, but I also kind of think that WWE is not going to want to really pay her a whole lot and use her a whole lot. So she might think that she's going to get re-signed, and they might also just go, we're going to pass.
Yeah, I think she wants to go back, though. So I think they'll probably find a way to get her in there.
Well, WWE signed somebody new. We have a new ring announcer for SmackDown, Mark Shunock.
Otherwise
He's going to be
known
going
as
by
Mark Nash.
Mark Nash. And we'll get our chance to hear him, I guess, for the first time today. I think he might be already debuting.
I believe so.
So can't comment on it yet. See if he's any good, but he seems like he's got a pretty good track record behind him. So, yeah, we'll see. Jet Testator is working out pretty well.
I agree.
So I'm assuming that this means that Lillian is not going to stick around. And that whole thing about like, it's not permanent is that they found their replacement.
Yeah, she had said that she wasn't sticking around. The last SmackDown before her before the European tour, she departed WWE.
So she's actually just like gone already?
No. She's doing did I say departed? Sorry.
Yeah.
She's doing like the Saturday Night's main events and occasional special things, but not doing the week to week anymore.
Okay. They probably ever signed on like some Legends deal or something. Maybe, I don't know. Talk about this. Somebody that's not confirmed in any way to have been signed, but did pop up. Von Wagner was on Dynamite. Calvin Bloom is the real name for anybody. It's Cal Bloom. He could go by. He was part of the security team that was trying to stop Powerhouse Hobbs and everybody from fighting.
That's kind of sad, isn't it?
Goes from being
like
security guy that doesn't have a character in NXT to being a character, a prominent character, to background security. We're gonna pretend that he's not a real wrestler kind of spot again.
And like I'm not gonna sit here and say Von Wagner was an amazing wrestler, right? But like, come on, you're really gonna put him as security when he was one of maybe top 10 utilized names in NXT during his era?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. With the lack of Come Tuesday, that post Nut Clarity Wednesday must have been hitting really hard.
I guess we should choose that transition to talk about how in the Viva Las Vegas Wedding Chapel is offering Love SmackDown themed wrestling weddings during WrestleMania season.
So that's right.
WWE's got the After Dark stuff, and if you want to get married in Las Vegas when you're there for WrestleMania, you can do a wrestling themed wedding there.
I want to get married in Las Vegas with a wrestling theme.
They'd be like, funny enough, the wrestling theme is, and then they pick one of the times that the marriage went downhill in WWE. Like, it'll be like, the wrestling themed wedding is Teddy Long and Crystal Marshall.
Oh fuck! I gotta have a heart attack. Like,
right? Yeah, you have to do that on the spot, or it's gonna be like, and here to be your officiant is Eric Bischoff.
Oh no! Wow, you're really trying to make my Vegas wrestling wedding dreams go up in smoke.
So
no, but I think it's cute. Like if you're in Vegas and you want to just do a quickie wedding, you get to be married by like a luchador. It's fun. You would get remarried and then do it in Vegas. Caroline would be down for that, right?
Not at all. Be like, let's go to Vegas. I don't want. No, wait. Why are we doing a wrestling themed thing? Congrats to a real wedding though. Ricochet and Samantha Irvin got married. So
yeah,
yay for the happy couple.
They seem awesome. They seem like they're really happy. I'm happy for them.
That was they even had a little segment with his promo on Dynamite, just being like, this is the here at my wedding, this is gonna be the best day of my life until I win that international title. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have even known that they were getting married if not for that. I mean, I knew they were engaged, but like, I think it's cool that he bothered to cut a promo from his wedding.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be the case for like, it was actually his wedding. Like, I was like, maybe they're on like vacation for the next couple days and his wedding's tomorrow or something. This is just an outfit he's wearing for like a dinner thing or something. But yeah, he took time away from his actual wedding to do that. And this episode of Dynamite was so weird to me because it was just a series of matches in a lot of ways. Like, why is Kenny Omega fighting Blake Christian? Why is Kyle Fletcher against Brody King? And then it's Hobbs against Mark Davis. And MVP is supposed to get him a thing from MJF saying his offer. And MJF's like, yeah, I'm kind of interested. But then Big Bill and Brian Keith are mad. And Lashley's mad. And
yeah, everybody's kind of mad. I didn't understand why we didn't go with. I don't understand why we had MJF say yes, but I like the idea that, hey, maybe MVP's cool with some things that the other dudes are not. I like that. You can build on that. Maybe.
So we're back, everybody. There's been an issue. Apparently, the podcast has like a delay on it now. So that's something we tried to figure out, and when we tried to figure it out, it completely botched everything. So I don't know. Again, if you know more about Video Ninja, let us know what we could do with this like latency issue, because it's currently it seems like
more angry at this point.
It seems like Rob and I are going to be talking over each other. It seems like the reaction is very low when it comes to like, if I were to be like, hey, repeat the word bell. That's how much of a delay we're going to be on, everybody. So I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that sucks for the podcast, because then that means that like we talk over each other and stuff. And every time I think I figured this out, that's another thing. So this podcast is also coming a little bit later than it would, because I'm going to have to split this video up and then edit it and do all that. So
this podcast is also a dud in some ways.
So I forget where we left off, everyone. Sorry. I know we were talking about the Ricochet wedding, but we were talking about Von Wagner. We're talking about a bunch of other things. Sorry, I don't know where we left off. We're going to move on to another topic. Stevie Turner was named the Evolve general manager. So the first
The
episode,
Prime
Shawn
Minister.
Michaels says to Ava, I hate that this latency things. Sorry, everybody. The whole rest of the episode's going to be me in a bad mood, a worse mood than I'm already in. I already know I'm going to be in a bad mood, so I apologize, but I'm going to try to finish the rest of this. Shawn Michaels gives the keys to the kingdom or whatever, as he had said to Ava on the first episode, and by episode like 4, Ava's like, "Never mind, you could have it, Stevie."
Well, she's killing two birds with one stone. She
What,
gets
Robert's
Stevie out
doing?
of her hair. Well, she killed that guy with the dark state, and you know, I think it's a good move because Stevie Turner was kind of in that role a little bit, and they needed a place for her to go.
Do you think that she's like injured in a way that they don't let her wrestle anymore?
Yes.
Wonder why that's up with that. Well, there's never been any
Total
report that I've
speculation
seen.
on my behalf, but the fact that she just doesn't wrestle only makes me think so.
Yeah, there's nothing that I've come across that actually said like this is what happened, this was her injury, this is whatever. But she hasn't stepped in the ring in a long time, and I'm surprised that they didn't release her. But I feel like maybe they didn't release her because they feel bad about that. Like maybe she's too injured to be able to wrestle anymore. They're like, well, let's keep her on for this role. Let's do that. You know,
It's totally possible. I also think that she's, got some good qualities to maybe make this work. It's kind of like how, look, Ava wasn't going to get fired, but she's doing a lot better in the GM role than as a wrestler.
yeah, so congrats to Stevie Turner for that. If we talk about NXT, we might as well talk about how Stephanie Vaquer retained both of her titles.
Yeah, that was a shock.
Did not see that coming. I was assuming it was a guarantee that she would lose the Women's North American title, and she retained it. So she's going to walk into stand, unless they do some kind of title change on, like, this next week or something like that randomly. She's going to walk into stand and deliver with both titles, which now makes me think it's the opposite effect. She's going to have a North American Championship title defense at Stand and Deliver, and she'll retain that. And then she'll have to defend the NXT Women's Championship later on in the show against Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace will beat her. So she keeps the North American title that she already had, that they wanted to book her for in the first place. And then in the meantime, you do Vaquer versus Julia, because they knew that Jordynne Grace didn't have somebody to work with. And it was like, we want Jordynne Grace versus Julia at Stand and Deliver, and Julia can't do it because of a visa issue, seemingly. So instead of it going to be Jordynne Grace doesn't have anybody, it's Vaquer wins the title and she fights Jordynne Grace. Now, I think that they could have just had Jordynne Grace against Jada Parker, and they could have just had Jordynne Grace beat Julia. But I guess they figured, you know what? Let's give it to Vaquer and give her a second title reign, and then that way when we move her up to the main roster, she's already won both belts.
Oh shit, did I lose you?
No, you can hear me. I can hear you.
Oh god, thank God I heard everything get quiet for a second. I thought I lost you again.
That's just a delay, I guess. Unless you didn't hear all of what I was just saying about Vaquer and Jordynne Grace.
No, I think Vaquer versus Grace seems like the way to go. I think it would have been Grace at Stand and Deliver, no matter who the champion was. But I thought that Vaquer would just lose the North American title, right? Like it seemed like they were going with, let's give it back to Fallon, and she can lose it to whoever. And now, like Vaquer is doing double duty. Maybe they could always wake up tomorrow and be like, actually, we're gonna strip her of the title, and we'll have it up in a ladder match or whatever, and then do Vaquer versus Grace.
Do you agree with me that Vickers not walking out of Stand and Deliver with both championships?
I think she's not walking out with any.
Oh.
I mean,
Well, that sucks to be you, Vickers.
It's a worthwhile move to put the North American belt on someone like Jada or Soruka or um, mostly those two, honestly, but or Lola Vice too. But I think Jada should get it, and I think Grace will win the big one because that was always the plan.
So I have one more hot tag to talk about, and that's the WWE Slammy Awards. We know the nominees now for the Fans Choice Award 2025 edition, and they kept the categories pretty much the same as what they had before. I think that they got rid of one of them, if I remember correctly. But last year, they also added new categories when they actually did the show. So for anybody that's curious, it's going to be the same as it was last year. They're going to do it on Sunday, WrestleMania Sunday, from WWE World. It's going to be hosted by Big E and Kathy Kelly, same as what they did last year. And it's going to be streaming on like the social channels. So it'll be like, on YouTube and such. I mean, I would assume it'd be on YouTube. It's probably going to be on YouTube more than it would be on just X or something. But here are the nominees for these categories. So there's only 2 nominees for Social Star of the Year: Chelsea Green and Drew McIntyre. And as far as I'm concerned, either of them could win.
I'm gonna guess Drew will probably win that one.
I'm down for it. Either one, I'm cool with it. The Breakout Superstar of the Year is between Braun Breaker, hates Breakout Superstar, so that makes sense, Lyra Valkyria, Penta, Obafemi, Julia, Tiffany Stratton, Jacob Fatu, Chelsea Green, and Stephanie Vaquer. I think the winner is going to be Jacob Fatu. And to be perfectly honest, I could see a lot of these people winning, and I'd be okay with it. Stephanie Vaquer is a 2-time champion. Tiffany Stratton cashed in Money in the Bank, won the title. Chelsea Green, United States champion. Obafemi kicking ass. Julia wins the U.S. title. I don't think the women's title. I don't think that she deserves to do that. I don't think that Lyra is as big of a win as like Vaquer's, for instance, or Stratton's. Braun Breaker, same kind of thing though. Penta, a lot of people going to vote for Penta too. But I think Jacob Fatu.
I would like for it to be Jacob Fatu. He's done so much in such a short time. I would like for it to be him.
The WTF moment of the year is between R-Truth calls Triple H Ciampa, which he's done that before, so I don't think that's really as funny as it was before. Kevin Owens car interviews, no. Dominic Mysterio in the shark cage, no. Chelsea Green goes into the dumpster, no. I show speed with Logan Paul at WrestleMania, no. I show speed at the Royal Rumble is more interesting than that.
Yeah, I might put that one over.
LA Knight in Logan Paul's pool. Don't even remember that.
Yeah, that happened during the build to their SummerSlam match.
R-Truth wrestles with John Cena. Rabid noises from Tama Tonga. So just what WTF moment of the year is just him going. Jacob Fatu's "I Love You" solo, which that gets my pick.
That's the one.
And the Wyatt Six debut.
Not a chance. I love you solo. I love that.
Match of the year is between Roman Reigns and Cody at WrestleMania. That's my pick. There's CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. Roman Reigns and The Rock against Cody and Seth at Mania. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Damian Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Cody and AJ at Backlash. The 2025 Men's War Games match. Bayley and Io at Mania. Sammy and Gunther at Mania. Gunther and Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin. And Rollins and Punk on the Raw Netflix premiere. I'm going Cody and Roman.
Yeah, I think I would have to say that. Because, like, that's such an iconic moment, you know? He finally wins. I'll probably give it to that.
NXT Superstar of the Year: Kalani Jordan, Ethan Page, Trick Williams, Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Obafemi. Obafemi gets my pick.
Yeah, I think Obafemi is probably the right way to go. Considering no one knew who he was, like, this time last year, and then he burst onto the scene.
Rivalry of the Year is between Punk and McIntyre, Reigns and Cody,
You could
Morgan
stop
and
right there.
Ripley.
It's Punk and McIntyre.
It's my favorite one of the year, yeah. Because Roman and Cody was primarily last year. I don't count post Mania, that feud. Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, Priest, Balor, and Bloodline are the other ones for anybody that's curious. But yeah, we're going the other one. McIntyre and Drew. McIntyre and Punk. Faction of the year is between OG Bloodline, New Bloodline, American Made, Damage Control, and Judgment Day. Probably go Judgment Day, I guess.
I think I'd have to go Judgment Day. They're a better unit.
Tag Team of the year is between Morgan and Rodriguez. No. Street Profits. No. Judgment Day. Maybe. War Raiders. Bloodline. Motor City Machine Guns. Maybe. 8-Town Down Under. No. Awesome Truth. No. DIY. Not really. And Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, who might very well win.
I agree.
And let's see what else we got on here. We got Oh My God moment of the year. Cody Rhodes and Roman's match finish at Mania. Dominic Mysterio turning on Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan at SummerSlam. That was a good moment. New Day turns on Big E. Kevin Owens turning on Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes in October. Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank cash in. Priest's Money in the Bank cash in. Wyatt 6 debut. Bronson Reed doing the tsunami on Braun Strowman onto a car. Roman Reigns returning at WrestleMania or at SummerSlam. John Cena turning on Cody Rhodes at Elimination Chamber. So they're counting that already for this. Braun Breaker spearing ISHO Speed at Royal Rumble, and Io beating Rhea for the title.
I would say, I don't know, because I just gave the other thing to Cody and Roman. I would want to say that again.
I think it's my vote. Because even though the other ones are all like, whoa, moments and stuff, it's still, that's my favorite moment of the year.
What you mean? Whoa. Let's see. Let's see. Bear with me.
You can still see my screen, right? It's up on the screen.
You know, you think that I would be that smart, but I opened it myself. Um, look, I think Cena turning heel is too new, but he'll probably get the vote. I think. Oh, New Day turning on Big E. That was a legitimate shocking moment.
Yeah, a lot of these could win. And we got most memorable entrance. Most of them at Mania. Cody, Roman, Rock, Bailey. We got Jey Uso on the Netflix debut with Tara Scott. We got Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin. Rollins at Mania. Sami Zayn in Montreal. Sami Zayn at Mania. Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle. And Dom at Bad Blood in the Lowrider. I think Roman.
I don't remember any of these. I'm gonna say The Rock's, because he had the belt and the final boss leveling up. So I'm gonna say The Rock.
And then we got male and female superstar of the year. That's females
Okay,
is
I'm
between.
going to say.
Good.
I think I did this when we did the last year's awards. I'm gonna go Liv Morgan and Cody Rhodes, just right off the top of my head, because the other choices are good, but nobody had the year Cody had, and of the options given, nobody had the year Liv had.
I agree. For the options that people are curious, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Bailey, Tiffany Stratton, Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Gunther, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins. So I'm going Liv and Cody as well. Which then wraps up our hot tags. Now, it wraps it up in the sense of recording and then me editing. I have to do all that stuff. Again, I don't know what's happening with this latency. This is our backup option for things, and that might be an issue. So,
It's
apologies.
a backup option. It's a backup option. We'll find another.
Yeah, we'll see. Sorry for the mood and everything else, other than potentially some of the content.
We're dead on the inside right now.
And it's 3 a.m, and I'm very annoyed and upset. So
it's 3
again,
a.m. where I'm upset. This thing failed miserably, so I'm good.
I didn't even plug this stuff, but Discord, you can find it there. It's marketplace stuff. I say it all the time. If you want to really keep us around, now's the time to show me that it's worth it and to help support us. And Smark Madness tournament's going on. Vote on who you think John Cena's best rival is. Follow the Linktree stuff at amangotree.com. Follow Rob at Dude Felice.
Yeah, I'm sad. Don't just finish it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry, everybody.
See ya.
We'll see. We'll see what happens for other stuff. But adios for now. This has been another Smart Out moment. And I'm sorry for ending an episode in this kind of a way as well. But now we're being counted out.